So there's a book by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk called The Body Keeps the Score. And it's basically the latest neuroscience on how trauma affects the body. We typically think of trauma as a past event. And not only a past event, a very standard list of events: loss of a loved one, car accident, natural disaster, going off to war, things like that. But it's a very antiquated understanding. It's a 20th century understanding, and that book really goes in depth into this understanding. But I want you to notice the title of the book. The body keeps the score. Whenever you have painful experiences, those painful experiences get encoded in your brain and body in the form of something called a sensory trigger. In other words, your brain takes a snapshot of all the sensory data that you're experiencing in that moment and assigns that sensory data with the procedure of fight, flight, or freeze response. And what that means for you is the next time that you see, hear, smell, taste, touch, feel something that is similar to something painful from your past, it will activate these survival responses in the body. And what ends up happening is the body is constantly going into a state of survival over and over again because of these sensory triggers. And every time that these neural pathways fire, they get stronger and they get more efficient at putting your body into this state of survival. And so you stretch that out over years. Now you don't just have neural pathways of threat association, you have neural highways of threat association. And what that means is your body is highly tuned to perpetually be in a state of survival. And so that's what the symptoms are about, right? That's what the symptoms of anxiety are about, and panic attacks and depersonalization, realization. It's really the appropriate symptoms whenever your body is in a survival response. So if that's the root problem, well, then our solution needs to include the body. It has to. And that's why whenever I'm working with clients, we only focus on doing things that are going to communicate safety to the body, right? Healing trauma and its associated symptoms is not about revisiting the past. There is a time to revisit the past, especially reinterpreting the past through the lens of survival and adaptation instead of shame and fear. But healing trauma is really about doing things that communicate safety to the body in the here and now versus talking about the past. In fact, talking about the past without directly releasing the tyranny within is just going to make you feel worse, right? So with that being said, that's what a body-based strategy looks like: doing things in the here and now that communicate safety to the body.